Good morning, Hazel. This is
Good,
Tom from Boulder.
good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here on this powerful, powerful day. Today we are celebrating Holy Saturday, the harrowing of hell, right? So some deep and wide thoughts I'm sure will come forth from our dear friend Nancy POER, who will be bringing some leading thoughts in just a few minutes. And while we all gather and come together, I want to invite our dear Marianne Fieber to give us the rhythm for today, for Saturday, for Saturn Day. Thanks, Marianne.
Yes. Saturday. Practice spirit recalling. Spirits of strength, let ring forth from the heights what in the depths is echoed. Practice spirit sensing. Spirits of light, let from the east be enkindled what through the west takes on form. Practice spirit beholding. Spirits of soul, let from the depths be entreated what in the heights will be heard.
Beautiful, as always. Thank you, Marianne. Yeah, these rhythms have been such a beautiful way of opening our space, and I appreciate feeling the energy of that as our scaffolding for our work together. And we have much to do on this powerful day as we go through the inner layers of the earth in our thinking and see what we can find there, see what we can excavate and bring up to be spiritualized by our thinking, feeling, and willing. So before I ask Nancy to come on, I also want to welcome the channers. I don't know if I see them out there, but we have Mary Lynn today is going to bring us some amazing insights that she received through working with the thought seed that we've been doing. And she actually created 2 more verses to go along with that were inspired by Herbert Hahn's verse that really pretty much is about thinking. So she wrote one to enliven our willing and our feeling as well. And so for the thought seed, she's going to share those with us. And I'm really just very excited about that, to see how this thought seed continues to grow within our community. So looking forward to that. And if you're here, maybe you could just put a little note in the chat so I can relax and know that you're going to be here in a little bit. So that would be wonderful. And now I would just like to turn the screen over to our dear Nancy POER, who is calling in from the White Feather Ranch. I'm sure some wonderful things are happening there as always. And I invite you to take us on the journey of Holy Saturday. Welcome, Nancy.
So, dear friends, what a privilege to be with all of you after this very, very special week. And as we descend into the depths and these thoughts for this incredible day, to be reminded that the 3rd of April was also the original Easter, so that we have this promise as we explore. And I'm grateful for this opportunity to be able to share with you a very precious thing which came to me through my mother, who is an anthropologist. And this is This is in the garden. It's the original painting by Leanne Collot Dearbois. And let's see, I'm hoping that you can see it there. Let me know. There, can you see it? It has the cross, of course, and then it has the Holy Mother and John holding the body of Christ. And then down there where the sun is shining on it is Joseph of Arimathea with the cup. So, yeah, hopefully, I'm trying to get it as close as I can. So how much did you hear?
Oh, we heard you. Yeah, we heard everything you said. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to see the picture, but your description is good.
Right. And I'm afraid the morning sun is putting so much light on it.
Yeah.
That it just glares for you, right?
A little bit, yep.
Okay, I should get it closer.
But the picture of the individualities is coming across clear, and the colors are beautiful.
So this is the morning sun. So the Holy Mary. But this, I wanted to point out this first community, which is Mary and John, because when Christ said as he died, behold thy mother, behold thy son. And so this community of holding the beautiful being of Christ in the chalice of their communion, if I could put it, is something to bear in mind now, because she is, of course, the initiated, the high Sophia initiate of the two Holy Marys, which she went through at the same time Christ was baptized, so that she's here on earth and she will be accompanying every part of it. And as she even had his head laid in her lap as she took out the thorns of the crown. So to bear in mind then on Holy Saturday, in the stunning time of quiet after the earthquakes, after the renting of the temple veil, and the chaos, and imagine the stench of all of those sacrificed animals, that she will go back into the temple, which she, of course, was raised and educated there. And she will be a comforter to the disciples as they are going through their grief. Now, to bear in mind that Judas has died shortly before Christ. And when Judas dies, he spills his intestines into the earth and his blood into the earth. And he is literally opening the gate to the underworld. And that is where Christ is going to go, the very first place after his death, to descend into the gates of hell, into the underworld, to the unredeemed dead. And this is just such a powerful and amazing picture to think of. And I want to then lead, because we don't have a lot of time, but I've given you a unusual artistic activity, which I hope you gathered a large pan with some ashes or earth into it. And as we're talking about right opinion, and I would say so much of how do we sort of overcome our opinions so we can get to the right part of it, which is spiritual truth. And it's so hard to find what is the truth behind everything that's happening to us now. But I want to go to this way that Christ dealt with it. And I'm going to read from the woman caught in adultery. So Jesus returned to the Mount of Olives, but early the next morning he was back again at the temple, and a crowd soon gathered, and he sat down and he taught them. And as he was speaking, the teachers of religious law and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in the act of adultery, and they put her in front of the crowd. Teacher, they said to Jesus, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. The law of Moses says to stone her. What do you say? They were trying to trap him into saying something that they could use against him. But Jesus stooped down and wrote in the dust with his finger. They kept demanding an answer, so he stood up again and said, all right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone. And then he stooped down again and wrote in the dust. And when the accusers heard this, they slipped away one by one, beginning with the oldest, until only Jesus was left in the middle of the crowd with the woman. Where are your accusers? Didn't even one of them condemn you? No, Lord, she said. And Jesus said, neither do I. Go and sin no more. And in this, the profound teaching, he is letting us know that we don't take away our karma. We'll have our own personal karma to live and work out through lifetimes. But he's taking away the consequences in the greater picture of our karma. And that deep sort of moral conscience and truth that we are being asked to find in our time and in our own soul. This goes far beyond sort of our superficial opinions, but that deep moral conscience of truth that's so represented by John, Lazarus John, and the Holy Mary here, that this is the right opinion, if we will. And so for the artistic activity, I hope some of you, and just lean down to the floor, if you, and imagine that you are writing into the earth what you have done, your impact in this earthly life. Just imagine a symbol, a movement, a gesture, a writing into the earth. And then go back to a second one and imagine that Christ is lifting the consequences of that. To me, that gives me the greatest joy to think that our goodness, as well as all of our shortcomings, can go on, but in the right way, because it's held by Christ. So let's do that, dear friends. Reach down right into the earth, into the ashes, the consequence of your life, a sense of feeling, a sense of a gesture of what it is, because that we can't change. That's objective truth. That's what Christ is pointing out. That's objective truth. We have written, the moving finger writes, and having written moves on, and all your piety nor wit can lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. So the Omer Khayyam says it. So write in the earth, and then write again the incredible forgiveness and holding of the Christ.
Nancy, could you unmute yourself?
So I just felt we should all have the experience of leaning down on the earth and touching the earth and be mindful that we are writing into the earth's destiny. And at the same time that we are so held and so loved and so forgiven. And that can help us rejoice in what the dead had been waiting, because they didn't have that kind of forgiveness yet until Christ descended into the underworld. And now he can say, I take upon myself the sins of the world for your sake. So this, remember, it's not only he's going into hell, but he's bringing Easter into the underground. The first Easter deed is in the depths of the earth. And when we think of that at the Shambhala of the Holy Mother, and the goldenness is there under all the layers of the eighth sphere and the shattering glass and the, levels of Armin and Lucifer and all the demons. But below it is the golden love of the Mother holding, anchoring the Holy Mother Earth as the Sophia being holds the stars. And we have all that together in this painting. And again, I think you're probably just getting colors, but
Nancy, if you like, we do have a print of it that we can put up on the screen as a screen share. Would that be all right with you?
Pretty awesome, yes, because
Okay.
we're just getting the light, but
Yeah.
for the light.
Leland, can you help out with that?
Yes, I just need, I don't have, oh yes, I do have screen share. Yay,
Yeah.
okay, here we go.
So go ahead and keep talking if you want, Nancy, and we have the picture here, and then your face is on the side here. We can still see you.
Is that visible to everybody?
Yes, thank you.
So when we see how Leanne, of course, is one of the most wonderful artists we have, and see the Holy Mother holding him, but how she and John have almost, are leaned together with this wonderful quality of creating a chalice of holding the power of this resurrection and light and life on the earth. And while Joseph, of course, is gathering from the last wound of the spear, what will be the essence of the Holy Grail. So I have the great privilege of living with this picture for a good part of my life. Yes. So I think that's about it for my contribution. I can add more if you wish.
Thank you, Nancy. What a beautiful imagination. So many levels, and to hear also about Mary Magdalene's experience, and yeah, this idea of writing into the earth, how we do have the power, just as Christ did, to change things with our intentions, to meet our karma in a way that brings healing. And not only for ourselves, but when we do that work for ourselves, we also do it for the earth. And I'm wondering, thank you, Leland, for doing that screen share. We have a question, Nancy. If can you speak or let us know the name of the artist again?
Leanne Collot de Herbois. And she worked, has done many beautiful paintings. So do look her up at Herbois, the last name.
Yeah, Leland has put it in the chat for those who'd like to look her up. So, yeah, I often use her images in the blog, which is nice.
Yes, and a beautiful artist named Leszek Forsyk was her student. as well. And Iris Sullivan has taken a lot of work with Leanne. So she's one of our most gifted artists, especially on color and the laws of color. So it's a great, you will find all of her work very beautiful.
Do we have any other thoughts or people that would like to ask Nancy a question or share at this time before we go into the thought seed? I want to open up the floor. You can raise your hand or you can just unmute yourself and speak. I'm reminded of the fact that Saturday was the Sabbath, the time of silence and rest. And I feel like we're also very deepened at this point. I'm feeling that silence living amongst us. Well, we can still let this germinate within us as we invite.
Kathy Reardon has her hand up.
Oh, good. Kathy, go ahead.
Funny because I didn't have my hand up, but I felt like I just wanted to say something. So I guess I get to. The exercise of actually writing in the ashes and on the earth was so powerful. And I think about how important it is to write something down, and to write it in that way was just tremendous. So I want to thank Nancy.
Anyone else have a thought?
Hazel? Oops, go ahead, Nicholas.
I was just feeling that this descent into the underworld, in a certain way, descent into the darkness, has a parallel in some ways to the midnight hour.
Beautiful. I love how you put these little zingers in, Nicholas. I mean, we could just sit and contemplate that for another lifetime. Thank you. Yes, indeed.
I wanted to say that I'm living with Edward Schultz talk from last night, and I think some people were there. He talked about Christ's journey, and it's into the center of the earth, and the different layers and how they relate to our ninefold human being, and how they relate to the Beatitudes. And the Beatitudes are what help us in our self-development, and what quality is related to each of he talked about the first 6 Beatitudes and what quality is related. So I think that recording will be available on the Front Range Anthroposophic website, or however, yeah, but it was amazing. And it fits so well with what I'm feeling now after hearing Nancy talk and that picture. Thank you.
Go ahead, Jeffrey.
I would like to ask Nancy if she could say a little bit more about something that she just dropped in about Judas actually dying before and opening the gates to hell. I'd never really considered that before, but it resonates in a certain way with me, particularly as Judas also, in a certain sense, fulfilled the function without which the crucifixion would never have taken place, which was the betrayal. And he's always given this bad, well, I can't think of the word, but he's always considered as the baddie, and yet his function seems to have actually been important.
Thank you, Jeffrey, because that's one of the most stunning thoughts I've had, especially in the last few years, of realizing, as the Bible says, of course, Judas is mad because Christ is supposed to declare himself as being the king and be an outward leader and emperor. Excuse me. And so, and he's mad about the money being spent on the herbs and so forth. But then, if we read the Bible, when Christ dips the sop, he dipped the sop and then he gave it to Judas and he said, "Go and do what you must do." Now, this implies an incredible bargain, and then the words afterwards, "and the devil entered into him." So, or Satan enters into. So we have the Christ, excuse me, just a minute. Come on, boys. So the Christ then has consecrated the sop that he gives to Judas. And then, then Judas goes across the street. He betrays him. He gets his 30 shekels. He makes the bargain. He'll kiss him so they can figure out which one he is, because, of course, John the Baptist is working through all of them, so, and the Christ, so they don't know who's who. And so therefore they have to identify him for the Pharisees. And so that we see this, Judas is changed, but also they have a bargain. And what an incredible bargain that somebody has to perform this part of the deed to betray the Christ. And then that consecrated sop goes through his alimentary tract. It goes through his digestive tract. And then when he dies, he bursts and his blood opens the door of the underworld. It's stunning, isn't it? As a thought. And of course, he'll come back as Leonardo da Vinci of this, dynamic, intense soul, but who will also paint the Last Supper. Right?
Thank you so much, Nancy. Beautiful. Let's let Nancy have a drink of water, and we can continue our conversation after we invite Mary Lynn to come in, unmute herself. And I'm going to put up on the screen here her beautiful verses that she sent us to fill out the thought seed and make it complete with the willing and the feeling as well. Mary Lynn?
Yes, thank you.
Burley. Hi, Burley.
Hi. Can you hear us?
We can, yes.
Okay. We're all so grateful for this beautiful verse by Herbert Hahn. And it is a light-filled verse, all about thinking. But we are left with the possibility of making up the verses for feeling and for willing. So this I have tried to do, and as a musician, you may see some aspects of that shining through, but I'd like to encourage each one who wishes to do this to make up your own verses. And I have my lyre here, which can bring about a musical surrounding of the verses in a way, and they will help out for us to feel the tone of this day, which is G. And the tone of G is our Saturn tone for Saturday. And it also reaches up to the Mercury tone of D and down to the Mars tone C. So before each of the verses, I will play this little roundabout. When I will life, oh, I turned around. I saw the one on top first. Once more. When I think light, my soul is bright. When my soul is bright, the earth is a star. When the earth is a star, I am a true human being. And now I'll go to the feeling verse. When I feel warmth, my heart sings. When my heart sings, the earth heals. When the earth heals, I am a true I am, the Christ in me. And now the verse for willing. When I will my life, my hands heal. When my hands heal, the earth resounds. When the earth resounds, I am a free human being. And now, just in closing, I'd like to look forward just a little with lyre tones to Sunday, our Easter Sunday. And the sun tone is A. And A, likes to reach up to Jupiter and down to Mercury. AE, AD.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mary Lynn. That's just amazing. And for bringing the tones in as well, how important that is. We are really resounding. We are singing. We are shining. Thank you so much. Wow. What a blessing. And if those who have to leave, I say fare thee well and welcome you back tomorrow for Easter Sunday. We'll be here at 10 a.m. Central Time with our dear Lucian Dante Lazar. And he's going to bring us a very interesting, very original take on the Easter resurrection. And I think it's going to be very, very profound and different. So I hope that you'll come and explore that with us. So thank you again, everyone. And if you do want to stay, I'll see if Nancy might want to hold forth a little longer, or if there's some folks that want to give her some questions or share, anyone want to share some insights from Mary Lynn's offering, or whatever you're feeling right now. We're open.
I do have a question for the community. The question about Judas kind of went pretty far into me, and the idea of being vilified in a maybe in a surface understanding, and the deeper understanding of the role that he played. And how do we do that with Ahriman and Lucifer? Because I find in the present day, I vilify Ahriman. I'm looking around as he's coming in and working in the world, and my feeling life tends to be a overwhelm or an anger or resistance. And how can I take this idea applied to Judas and open it up into Ahriman and the current goings on in the world? That's my question.
Nancy, do you feel called to speak on that?
Sure. Oh, honey, you're asking the question, aren't you?
That's the question, yeah.
Oh, you bet. For all of us, poor old world. I mean, they just teamed up, you know, and not only Lucifer and Army, the Sorat and the Asuras, they're just having one big heck of a time. So how do we stand in face of that? It's like, wait a minute, this is a really stacked deck. So we're all struggling with how do we stand in our humanity? And that is the most important thing. How do we stand in our humanity with doing everything that we can humanly do that Lucifer and Armin can't? They can try to run the domain, they can try to run the show, but they can't bring that loving gesture to a friend, to a grandchild. We are the ones that must be the creators of life in the midst of a culture of death. And that is our fact. We are living in the time of a culture of death that is taking over through mechanization, through AI, through all of the means to transhumanism, all of this stuff that they are trying to take over our core I am of our humanity. But in that core I am, the Christ can live. And therefore we each can be, and to be, as Mother Teresa said, joyful. She's, how do you ask her, how do you do great things? I don't do great things. I do small things with great love. Lucifer can't do that. Armin can't do that. These swords can't do that. We can do that. We can do that, whether we're, and whatever our gift is, whether it's playing the piano or, calling up a loved one and play the piano for somebody who's sick, or sing for them. You can do that by Zoom or phone or whatever. But get together whenever you can, outdoors of what it is, so that the human essence, like I'm describing in the picture of Mary and John, is this exalted, initiated beings creating this synergy of dynamic, unstoppable love that is the foundation of community. And we can find it. We can find it. And then we're home free. And don't forget to laugh, because they can't get you when you're laughing, especially at yourself. You're home free. And remember that Lucifer, on the statue of the representative man, there it is, right up there, right at the top. Humor right at the top. If you're laughing at yourself, you are in a free zone. Armin cannot get you. So they can't do that. They can't create these jokes about themselves. They have no sense of humor, these guys. Being human in our deepest, most profound sense of our humanity, that is the antidote. And that's within, and we could all live one day at a time anyway. So we can't, the future, who knows? So we can't borrow it all today. Today I see all your wonderful faces there in a Zoom meeting. Right. Does that help, Leslie?
Thank you so much. On so many levels, I've taken copious notes and I'll be meditating on them. Thank you.
Okay, Leslie.
Yeah. And doesn't it really show our humanity if we can actually see that these adversarial beings are suffering as well? That they want us to suffer because they suffer so much, and can we actually find some compassion for them and know that they are looking to us to help heal them?
Well, that too. That's a stretch, but we'll keep working on it. So.
Yeah. Anyone else have a comment or question for Nancy? Mary Tom.
Hi, good morning. I wanted to say that I was very, very impressed with an image that I think it was brought yesterday about entering the belly of the beast in relation to the technology that we're using in order to have these conferences and these meetings together and things like that. And I was really touched by that image. And what has been living with me since that was this picture of when we use these technologies, is the technology harming us, or are we able to transform it by entering it with love? And I thought about, Christ entering the underworld and going through these layers, and is there not a similarity to what we're doing here when we're entering and penetrating these layers of this web that supposedly enwraps us, and enwraps the earth? it could be perhaps, it's just something that I'm carrying, that it's another penetration of the underworld in a sense in our time. So I just wanted to bring that because I found that to be very, very profound, and I hadn't thought of it before. So I was grateful for having that picture and being able to work with that.
Thank you, Mary Tom. Yeah, beautiful insights. And I mean, isn't, to me, I feel like isn't it really a matter of reclaiming these etheric realms for the Christ? You know, it's always about intention. You know, of course, there's going to be the sub-nature aspect, and you know, the 5G and whatever else is going on out there. And so, yeah, we have to continue to work to spiritualize the earth and eat biodynamic food to give us the strength, right? But I think a lot of it is prayer and attitude and consecrating these spaces that are the tools of these adversarial beings, and that's how we turn them to the good. Any other thoughts on any old thing on this holy Saturday?
I was struck last night reading Emil Bach in a group I'm in, a local group, and the part that we've been talking about, but how Easter happened in death before it happened in life. And there's this whole other, I mean, Holy Saturday is this in between, but I have this whole other understanding, and just like I still keep feeling this, wow, what does that mean? Like that mystery, like opening up to the death, and what wasn't available before is now open with this gift. And what that means for us in so many levels, yes, in this life, but like our eternal aspects.
Really seems to point up the importance of working with the dead, doesn't it? You know, to recognize that there had been, you know, that death, you know, the underworld was a prison. Human beings were not able to access the spiritual powers that could renew them and give them the forces to continue their destiny. And so the blood of Christ going in there is this radiant seed that lights up the underworld and frees these souls so that they could, you know, break those chains and continue with their reincarnation and achieve their destinies.
I'd like to underscore that, Hazel. Am I unmuted? Yes, Nancy here. I truly can say that that I couldn't have kept going these last years without working with the other side. And I just can give you testimony. They are so present. Just stay open. That's a team. We've got such a team on the other side. Think of those loved ones. And they're trying to give you signs and thoughts and ideas all the time. It's amazing, whether it's that little butterfly that's right there or a sign on the freeway. But they're ever present and they're ever supported, and they don't have bodies, so they don't have to worry about all the things we do, but they've got the big picture. And so please be mindful of your team. And most of you have a pretty big team, and they are there. They want to help. They've got the viewpoint, and they will, and they can even work through these beastly things called computers. So we just do what we can, and be mindful of the tremendous supporting, loving help we have pouring in from the other side and through the Christ and the Holy Mother.
Any other friends out there have a comment or something to
I do.
contribute?
I do. This is Katie in Ann Arbor. And all right, this morning has been an absolutely tremendous experience, and you've given words, all of you, and imagery. The experience this morning, and opening the window and feeling the air and feeling the wind and seeing the sun's rays and realize that all of this is a symphony. Everything, every element, every bird, every flowing is a symphony of all that we have spoken of, including the dead whom we carry with us who are not dead, and including the flowers who surround us in every place is a symphony.
Thank you. Thank you, Kate. Yeah. I think Mary Lynn really opened up that symphony with us, with the lyre for us today too, didn't she? Yeah, nature gives us so much, and it's up to us to make our contribution a beautiful thing, filled with love. Who else is out there with something to say?
I had wanted to say something in regard to what Nancy said, her question about how do we stand in our humanity. And I think that another aspect is our ability to listen to one another, to truly listen. And when we do that, we open ourselves and we're able to allow that other person to touch us. And in their touching us, we are able to have an empathy towards them. And that is something that neither Lucifer nor Ahriman can really bring to humanity. And it binds us. That empathy is a very human quality.
Right, to, as Nancy was saying, to have the weekday exercise, to to have the right opinion, to not have judgment, to be able to receive and have empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara.
I just wanted to really thank everyone. This has been really, really beautiful. It was very powerful for me, Nancy, to experience your invitation to bend down and write in the earth. So I did prepare that and I did it, but I didn't think about it. And just from my hand, I played with the soil and there came a closed door. And it was all the times that I have closed the door to love and reaching out and trying to be safe and quiet and shy. And then it was transformed again without thinking about it
the door was opened and there was this great big heart. It just opened and transformed to love. Thank you for inviting us to do that.
Oh, Barbara, honey, that's beautiful. That was happening on mine too. That heart came. You go, oh God bless. Bless the world. God bless all of us with our striving to open those doors, honey. Bless you, Barbara. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you all, one and all.
What a beautiful blessing. Yeah. Perhaps that should be our closing for now. We'll take that open door and walk through it and see what we can see. And hopefully it'll be filled with love, right?
There you go.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nancy.
Blessings. Thank you.
Blessings. And thank you, friends. We'll see you tomorrow. Happy Easter. Peace.
Thank you both. Thank you all.